So today we are going to finally see the Garfield movie. We are outside of the theater right now. We're gonna go in there. I can't wait to check the movie out, but not just that, we're gonna pick up some collectibles. It's gonna be an overall fun time, and I'll give you a little spoiler-free movie review at the end of this too, but let's just get into it. Welcome home, Rep Pack. Marcus here, and welcome to Comfort Cartoons, the show where I collect absolutely everything from the late 90s
2000
all the way to the modern day. And I hope you beautiful people are having an amazing day. And if you guys aren't, you know the drill. You know we didn't film this on Monday because it's Garfield's day camera flip. The day is about to get a whole lot brighter, Rep Pack, because your boy is here. And today, like I said, we are right outside of
Costco.
Yeah, we are outside of Costco too, but AMC that you can, Ryan, crop it in even further. Ignore my CarMax sticker there. Ryan, crop it in even further. Yes, I got my car. Yes, I got my car at CarMax. They're non-negotiating pricing. Quite convenient for somebody who doesn't like, you know, intense social situations like that. But we are with Karina right now too.
Hi guys, I miss you.
And we are gonna go in right now to check out Garfield. Of course, we are gonna film if we see any kind of signs, displays, anything Garfield related or anything else animation related that we see. We're gonna film it with you guys. Maybe they have some stuff inside there that's coming out that we're gonna take a look at. But not just that, this show is about collecting and all the different things that we get to add to the collection together, you and me. And they, for this movie, Garfield, as I said, they've done an incredible job of just making this movie an experience. It reminds me so much of like Shrek back in the day, Spongebob the movie back in the day, where there's stuff everywhere you go. I've mentioned it before, there's billboards. We've gone to do hunts at Walmart where there's full-blown displays there. They had a freaking Garfield legitimate lasagna that you can get at home and one you can get in a restaurant. But now is the big day of seeing the movie. If you guys have already seen the movie, let me know what you guys think down below. No spoilers, because a lot of people still haven't seen it. This video is gonna be coming to you guys a little bit later, so the movie's probably well out at this point. But they have a bunch of collectibles for this film, just like with all the other epic stuff they've done, and I ordered the collectibles package. It's a $30 bundle that comes with a popcorn bucket, a cup, a plush, and I really don't know what else. I think there was one more thing that this finger's wagging around for, but I don't remember what it was. And they might have some other stuff there as well too, so we're gonna get into all of it. I'm holding us up. We're already on it. We're supposed to be in the theater at this point, so let's go do it. Yeah. Okay, so here's the different collectible packages here. They have this one right here for Mad Max. They have this one for What If. If you guys have seen What If, let me know how you guys think about that. It kind of reminds me of like Foster's Home a little bit, but I haven't seen it yet. And then here is the Garfield collectibles bundle here. So I think it comes with that little figure there. That was the fourth thing I was thinking about.
On the cup?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that the popcorn bucket was gonna be a bit bigger. Like for scale, like my hand is...
This is way bigger than me.
Yeah, I did think, I mean, that one's pretty small too, because you put it inside of him. That's a pretty small popcorn bucket for $30, but hey, it's a movie theater. You kind of already expect that to be the case. Nonetheless, though, that is still really cool, and I want to get the one from the theater, so we're gonna pick this guy up, or it's gonna get delivered to us, I think. I was surprised that they did delivery.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yes, this is a delivery movie theater, so they're gonna deliver it to the actual
Nice.
seats. You have this big display for Inside Out 2. Of course, I'm really excited to see this movie too, but there's so many new emotions that I'm not even familiar with, and pretty much all these ones on the right here are gonna be new versus the OG ones we have right here. And a live action movie, which is rare for me, that I'm excited for, is the Wolverine and Deadpool, or should I say Deadpool and Wolverine movie here. You guys have probably seen the trailer for it, but it's very rare for me to be excited for a live action film, but this one's definitely, and I love Deadpool, and of course Hugh Jackman Wolverine is the best, so those two coming together is gonna be amazing. Other than that, there's really not much here. So this is the AMC 16. This is where we're going in to see the movie. Excited for it overall. To be honest, I've seen these really big popcorn buckets of like Garfield holding a little bag of popcorn himself. I was hoping they were gonna have that one, but I might have to just get one online or something like that. I don't know if it's at AMC or if it's just at other theaters. We're also watching it a day or two late, so maybe they sold out. The guy up front didn't seem very familiar with him at all. So I'm just gonna look forward to it. For the plushie, I can also pick a Garfield one or an Odie. I asked if I could buy the Odie one separately. You can't, unless you pay the other $30 for everything all over again, which I'm not gonna do. So I'm gonna get the Garfield one, and we'll check out everything once we get out of the movie, because they're gonna be bringing it to me in the middle of the movie. So I'm not gonna be able to check it out while we're in the theater and everything like that. So I'll get it out of the movie, we'll check out everything, and then we'll give you a little review of the movie overall. And what do you think?
I don't know where to look when you're talking. I'm just like...
Yeah, that's all you have to do. You ever seen like Madagascar? Just smile and wave. Okay, guys, so we'll update you guys when we're coming out of theater. Maybe we'll film a little startup, you know, when the movie's going on, but other than that, we gotta wait a tiny bit. So we just got out. Karina was crying during the movie.
4 times.
4 times.
4 times.
So we'll give you our little update about how the movie was, but all I have to say is it was amazing. I loved it so much. This is my car? Yes. This is not my car. We almost got into somebody else's car. I got my stuff, as you guys maybe could see in the theater. I had to get some Coke Zero before I left too, so I got some of that too. But got my Garfield cup, as you guys can see there, my little container. This is not my car either. Oh my gosh, maybe we should stop vlogging and actually look for my car. Somewhere around, oh, it's way down there. I have this thing where I just park ridiculously far for no reason. I just hate looking for parking. It's something that adds a lot of frustration to me, so I skip that aspect of things so I can just stay in my optimistic, happy mood by just parking far, and I'll walk, you know? I don't want to get myself upset trying to fight for a parking spot. So let's get in the car. We got everything, and we'll talk about the movie. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a little update when we get back to the cavern of like my opinion of the movie overall, and also we'll check out all the different merch pieces that we got. But Karina's not gonna be there for that. So what was your opinion of the movie altogether?
It's really good. I prefer this one than the one.
What, the one from growing up? Yeah, you know what? I really loved the original one as well. That movie's great. But this one was so fun. Like, it was just such a fun film altogether.
A roller coaster all the time. Crying all the time. Every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I like both of them equally, but this one, honestly, maybe I do like this one a little bit more too. It was just like, not that it's a competition, but because that one's a huge part of our childhood, hers and mine. But I think that this movie was just so Garfield. Like, Chris Pratt's the voice of Garfield. He kind of sounded like Chris Pratt, you know, he just sounded the same as like he does in every movie, but it didn't bother me. Like, you know what I mean? Garfield's a character that originated as a comic strip. Yeah, we had some original voices of him in different cartoons, but realistically, his voice started voiceless. So as long as you can get that energy across, it kind of filled in. Hey, we'll spoil everything too soon. I will say my rating for the movie, I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but for me, the ending of it was so Garfield. I love the battle they had at the end. I'm not gonna say what happened, but Garfield won the fight with food. And that's the most Garfield thing I could possibly imagine when it comes to just making it a spectacle and a big scale movie. You know, it's a bit big for Garfield because Garfield's a comic book strip. He's typically, you know, doing some pretty mundane, normal, slice of life type of stuff. That's kind of where his character's rooted in. But it's a movie. You gotta get out there. You gotta make it big. You gotta make it this big, flashy show. And they did it in the best, most Garfield way I could possibly imagine. Why am I sweating? Did you turn
the heater on?
Oh my gosh. I was like, man, I'm really feeling this. I'm like so intense right now. Turn this heater off. My gosh. I'm like literally about to just install like a device or a safety device that will only allow this to be AC because I cannot handle the heater. I'm gonna melt. I will be dehydrated by the time I was thinking like, man.
Freeze to death.
I was like, am I gonna have faint? Like, why am I getting so hot talking about this movie? Okay, what would you rank the movie on a scale of 1 to 10 for people that are at home? You know, you're a novice Garfield fan. You saw the movie growing up, but you didn't read a lot of the comics or watch the shows really. So just a person watching the movie, because I'm going to talk about it later as like a cartoon fan and Garfield overall fan. What would you rank it on a scale of 1 to 10? And also remember, Karina ranked everything a 10. Everything is a 10 for Karina, so keep that in mind. I'm going to ask Karina for her rankings, but 9 times, like I said, it's going to be either the worst case scenario scenario, an 8 or a 7. Best case scenario, a 10, usually. So I'll give you the Simon Cowell answer later. But even then, I still think mine's pretty high ranking. I really enjoyed the film. The merch, and like, that's what I'm talking about. Like when you see a movie and the merch and everything around it ropes you in, it literally adds to the experience. Like for me, the movie could be a 6, but if you do some fan service, you put some products out, you put some food, some things, some activities, some experiences for people to go do, to get to try Garfield, you know, prove lasagna and be able to say you did it, have that experience, that automatically lifts the movie up a little bit higher for me. That's just how I view movies and how I kind of gauge the movie and my experience overall. But for me, that was a 10 out of 10. So for the movie, I'll show you guys the items and we'll get a little bit more of a breakdown when we get back to the cavern. I gotta start driving. Look at this freaking car, dude. The whole windows are freaking sweating from me. Like from body heat coming off of me because you put the heater on. That's my little Garfield drawing. Karina's ranking. There we go. Garfield, 10 out of 10. So we are back, the gang is here. We're gonna be talking about the Garfield movie as well as showing you guys the stuff that I picked up. But while we're talking about the stuff that I got, which was very kind of minimal comparatively to all the stuff that's out there, we're gonna be talking about some of those other items as I show you the ones that I have. So we're gonna talk about my popcorn bucket, but we'll also look at all the other popcorn buckets that were available here in the US, Canada, and overseas, just because of the fact that, you know, this is kind of Garfield's moment. And I mean, as the movie gets older and older in the box office, you know, until he gets his sequel, we're gonna be kind of left with just the Garfield coverage that we got before the movie hype. So while it's here, I want to encapsulate as much of this stuff as we possibly can, archive it and enjoy it here together, whether we picked it up or not. So let's go ahead and get into it. But I've also had time for the movie to digest a little bit and give you my opinion on it as well, so I'll also be talking about that. So we'll be starting off with the popcorn bucket. I did get this little tin one. It was $30 for the stuff that I picked up here today, but I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna be way bigger, but it makes sense, you know, movie theater prices, that's just how it goes. There are so many really cool popcorn buckets that came out, but I didn't know which theaters had which, so I just went to the theater that I typically go to, and this is what they had, so I got what I could. It's not Nickelodeon licensed merchandise, like technically, so I'm not like stressing myself out too much about trying to go get all of it. If it was the Nickelodeon stuff, like if this is the Spongebob movie, we would be ordering stuff overseas. We would be doing everything we can to get everything in here, but I have to retain resources for the Nickelodeon stuff, so I'm happy with what I got, and I do kind of want to get one of the items that I'm going to talk about on this list. But we have the tin popcorn bucket here. You can see it's got baby Garfield there on the front, who is so freaking cute, and we also got baby Odie here too, so you get to see Garfield when he's a baby. I mean, you know that from the trailer and from the promotion, so again, this is a spoiler-free review, but oh my gosh, the scene with Garfield as a baby is so sad. And then you're like, oh, this was really sad, and as the movie gets further along, you kind of revisit that moment in some ways, and it gets even sadder, and you're like, oh my gosh, but not sad in a bad way, but like in a precious, endearing, oh my god, I can't believe they did that kind of way. It was so sweet. I loved seeing him as a baby, which I feel like in most Garfield media, we really haven't seen that much of. And I think that the way the character looked was so much better. Like, I love the version that we grew up with, this one from A Tale of Two Kitties, and this one as well, but you don't realize how like dated technology gets until you really watch something new. Because I watched the Bill Murray Garfield movie right before we went to go see this one, and I will say that I don't have any problems talking about the original Garfield movie that much, because even Bill Murray didn't really like that movie that much, the guy who voiced him, so so that tells you something. But he looked good. Like, I would say that doesn't look bad, like that looks pretty good. But then when you see like how good this movie looks on screen, you're like, wow, I guess this is kind of better than like a real life, like a CGI Garfield. Like the whole world being CG kind of works so much better, and it felt way more on brand for the character. So as far as visuals go, I loved the movie. Chris Pratt, I didn't really get bothered by that at all. It didn't distract me too much. And the movie felt really Garfield. There's so many different references throughout the movie that we'll talk about as well. But here is the popcorn bucket we got. Let's check out some of the other popcorn buckets that came out around the world or also in the US. So first off, this this is the one that I wanted. It's Garfield holding a bucket of popcorn. You know, popcorn buckets have been getting crazier and crazier over the years. I remember when the Marvel movies were coming out, it was just kind of these tins, these collectible lunch trash can tins that were really cool. But then we started getting like sculpted ones, you know, like of characters themselves. And I think Disney kind of popularized that. I mean, we've got some on screen. Disney's made some incredible ones, some that barely even hold like any popcorn at all, but you're like, okay, well, here's an excuse for me to get a figure, I guess. So due to Disney doing that, you see a lot of popcorn buckets for movies now. I mean, there've been some crazy ones like the one for Doom, and the ones for Deadpool are getting a little crazy too. But this Garfield one is so sick. I wanted it so bad, and I still don't know what theaters had these popcorn buckets. It could just be because I saw the movie a few days late, that maybe they just sold out. But from the guy I talked there, they never had these popcorn buckets at that theater. But it is a beautiful one, and that is that, and one other item is one I might consider ordering online. I just don't know yet. I like this one because you can put it in your kitchen and kind of put like some snacks in there, you know, that are on display, so to speak, but you know, also kind of eat them here and there. Do not put fruit in it, okay? It's a Garfield popcorn bucket. I think that would be breaking one of the Garfield 10 commandments, is to put a vegetable or a fruit in that thing. You gotta put the junkiest of stuff. I'm talking Reese's outrageous bars, deep fried Snickers, you know, all the works inside this type of thing. But there wasn't just that one. They also released this full sculpted head version of baby Garfield that has a compartment in the back that you can actually reach the popcorn as well. That one is really cute too. We have it on screen here, but I do prefer the full-bodied popcorn bucket with the individual popcorn compartment. And being that this is a channel where we talk about memorabilia and the merchandise around these things, that's why I want to focus on these things, because it's really cool to see what was out there. So we also got some bigger versions of the tin that we got here, like a full-size one, kind of like the ones I was talking about, the trash can size ones. That's here. And then of course, even if you didn't get any of those, you have the paper bags that came out as well too that held the popcorn. So you got those in conjunction with everything else. So even the free version is pretty cool and still bigger than this one. Overseas, you also got this Garfield with like more of like a home chill vibe, where he's got an actual bowl holding the popcorn. He looks very much more like the movie Garfield in this one, and it has more of like a homey vibe, being that he doesn't have like the theater style popcorn. I prefer the theater style popcorn one, but this one's cool too. Okay, so then next up here we have the drink cup. So I got the drink cup here. Again, it has the Garfield right there, the Garfield movie in theaters, and then you got Odie digging into Garfield's food there too. So there's so many references in the movie. There's one part of the film, again, no spoiler alert, but where they kind of do a compilation for Garfield, and it's like a one-to-one compilation of different Garfield movie comic moments that have happened. So look out for that. And there's also, I'm gonna spoil one thing, but it's really not that big of a deal. It's nothing to do with the story or anything, but there is a character that says, "What in the Jiminy Davis?" rather than saying, "What in Jiminy Cricket?" like they would typically say, which is of course a reference to Jim Davis. And that's just some small ones, without spoiling anything. There was cluttered throughout the entire movie. There's different references to the Garfield lore. You even get to see a special character at the end that I'm not gonna tell you about again, but one of my favorite characters, and I'm hoping that they make a sequel. He appears. So with the cup though, it comes with this awesome little Garfield figure that goes on top of the cup. So you have your straw come through, and then you got the Garfield right there to go with it. Nice little cup here, and not bad for a combo. You get a plushie, you get a cup, you get a tin. Not terrible. Could it be better? Definitely, but still pretty cool. The cup that I want the most is the cup that they have in Korea right now, and Japan, I believe, and a few different places in Asia, and it's this baby Garfield drink cup, and he is so precious. It reminds me very much of the sponge out of water drink cups that we got in Asia too. It's kind of like him, Camp Coral era right there. His eyes can be like moved around. One of my favorite pieces in the entire collection because he's so adorable. And you know, it's got this straw right there, so it very much so reminds me of this. So they've been killing it over there in Asia with, I mean, just everything in life, honestly. Their stuff is always so cute. But that Garfield drink cup is, even more than the popcorn bucket, I think the one thing, like, I'm like, I have to get that. So here are some of the other drink cups though. They had these ones that kind of had like their ears of the different characters on top of them. Not as many drink containers as there were, I guess, popcorn containers. And I loved about this movie too is like looking at the cup here, you can see that they're kind of in the neighborhood that Garfield lives in. And Garfield takes place in Muncie, Indiana, which is, you know, where I went for a video where we explored all of Muncie, got to see some Garfield statues. You're seeing some footage on screen right now. It was an amazing experience. I had so much fun, and it was cool kind of knowing that that's where they were in that moment. But I loved that it was all, for the most part, took place in, like, you know, his neighborhood. I mean, there was a big aside where they went to a certain location that I won't say exactly, but even that for the most part was kind of a small scale, like very like rural area. It wasn't like, you know, in the big city, some high stakes thing, which I think a lot of movies, like it's a movie so they feel like, okay, we've got to go to New York, you know, it's got to be space, it's got to be this big spectacle. But what makes the movie so homey and comforting is the fact that it just takes place in a normal neighborhood. The stakes of the movie are high, but at the same time the location and the scenery of the movie are so comforting that it kind of coddles you through all that drama that happens at some points, rather than if it was just like that on top of like this crazy landscape that you know, that seems unfamiliar. It probably would have been a lot. But even the biggest parts of the movie are big scenes, but the location still kind of feels almost private. So I'd say I really loved every aspect of the movie. I know everybody has their own opinions as to, like, you know, whether it was good or bad, whether Chris Pratt did a good job or not. If I were to have any gripe, I would say my only negative criticism might be the callbacks to the real world. I think that there's some stuff that, like, it's just for me personally, that's what kept it from being a 10 out of 10 maybe, is I don't really like when animated movies make a lot of calls or references to real life things, because I watch those things to kind of escape from them. So one of the newest SpongeBob movies, Sponge on the Run, you get to see Danny Trejo in it, you get to see Keanu Reeves, you get to see Snoop Dogg. And while I love all three of those individuals, I don't really feel like I needed to see them in a SpongeBob movie. I feel like if I wanted to watch something with them in it, I kind of would just do that. And I get what they tried to do with it, because, you know, in the original movie you had David Hasselhoff, but it was just kind of the one, you know, you didn't have like 3 characters, this whole aside story. And Garfield didn't do that as much as the Sponge on the Run movie did, but it did have Snoop Dogg in the movie, because I guess Snoop Dogg's in everything, which was fine because he was still a character, he was a cat, but it did kind of distract me a little bit. And then there's one joke that I guess I will make a spoiler alert on, is that Garfield references doing his own stunts, and he says, you know, I do my own stunts, only me and Tom Cruise. But I just think, like, it's kind of a really dated reference for one. Like, I don't really know how many kids nowadays really know or are that into Tom Cruise already. I don't know if that was some kind of like pact, you know, it almost felt like it was something that like Tom Cruise or something he believes in paid some money or something to get that line in there. I don't know what, but it just feels like such a random thing to add in there, and it kind of just took me out of it again for a brief moment during a really big like climax moment. It kind of distracted me for a bit because I was thinking about like, oh, the real world and Tom Cruise and him doing his own stunts and the things that Tom Cruise does, and it made my brain distracted. As somebody with ADHD, I immediately took that deviation and ran with it rather than staying focused on the story that was in front of me. So I would say that that would be my only gripe, is the references to the real world. And I think that also dates the movie too, and can down the line make it seem even more like it was already a dated reference, and then even more in like 10 years from now. So next up here though, we got the Garfield plush, and I will be the first to say here, I love my merch. This is not the nicest quality plushie ever, but he is pretty good. He's not terrible. So here he is right here. I mean, I'm imagining that you pay like $10 per item. So you paid $10 for the tin, $10 for the cup and the little figure, and then another $10 for the plush. We also got these plushies at Walmart right before the movie, and these were only $8. So I mean, the fur on them is way nicer. The stitching on the eyes is way better. You can see that the stripes on Garfield are built into the fur rather than just being kind of printed into the actual fabric. But at the same time, it's a movie theater thing. Like, you know what you're getting into. It's kind of just what comes with the movie theater experience, right? So I think for a movie theater plushie, it's not terrible. It feels slightly better than maybe like a Five Below, like Just Play figure, but also right below like a Walmart $8, you know, nicer plush. So likely I'm still gonna keep this guy in the collection, but it's not something I'm gonna put on display like the, you know, the Garfield movie interactive plush or even the smaller baby Garfield. Like these are way cuter and have way better like shelf appeal than this guy does. But for a kid, which this is supposed to be a kid's combo, I think it works perfectly. Let's see what other plushies or merchandise that came out in other theaters. So I went to Regal. It was $30 for everything. Regal is selling the exact same Garfield plush on their website. You can buy it, but it's $24. This is not a $24 plushie. Maybe a $10 if you're willing to pay it. Maybe a $15 on a good day, on the day of release, but definitely in no circumstance is this a $24 plushie. Some locations also have this Garfield blanket and other like pillow plushies, but like as far as a full body plushie for Garfield, it seems like Regal kind of got the only one, but they also had an Odie version of this, and I wanted to get the Odie too, and I don't know if the guy just made that up and he wouldn't let me, but I wanted to buy the Odie separately, but he wouldn't let me. He said I had to buy another combo pack to get the Odie plushie that goes with this Garfield, so I was not gonna spend another $30 for another plushie that realistically should be $10, $15. So I think I'm just gonna get my drink cup that I told you about, and maybe down the line get the Garfield popcorn bucket, but other than those two things, the rest of it, like I'm fine with what I got already. So Odie I'll have to leave out for right now because we have so much other Garfield merch too that we've been picking up during this whole little hype season for Garfield. I hope that it continues after this, and I hope that Garfield the movie is just one of many. I mean, I would love for it to get like I mean, Sony doesn't have a streaming service, right? So I mean, I guess they could put like a Garfield series on Netflix, or maybe they could do a sequel to this one being Garfield 2, which I think they kind of were setting up for a little bit. I would love to see a Garfield 2, Garfield 3. I would love to just keep reliving this hype season, like I said, for Garfield. It was so much fun. I love Garfield stuff, and I mean, I can get past the fact that it wasn't a Nickelodeon release movie, because if they make another one, likelihood it's gonna be it's still gonna be Sony as the sequel, and I can accept that for Garfield, because I mean, the man wasn't even Nickelodeon up until like the last 10 years, so I'm okay with it. And he's still, you know, we still got a lot of Nickelodeon merchandise alongside this just because this movie was coming out, so I'm okay with it either way. So stay tuned here, guys. You know the drill. We're gonna add some of this stuff to the collection. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to support the show further, you can check out our Patreon where you can sign up for only $2 a month, and you'll get an extended version of this video and every other video that I upload on YouTube here, and they're 100% ad-free. You get early releases, you get invited to our Discord. There's a lot of fun going on over their Patreon, so go check it out. It's in the description. And you can also check out our Whatnot stream where we're live every single Friday. You can come hop on in. We're doing giveaways all the time. You'll see me talk about them in videos often, so if you want to be a part of those, go check it out. When you sign up, you get $15 for free towards your first pickup, but you don't have to spend any money to enter into those giveaways or just hang out with us. So that link is down below. But like I said, let's add some of this stuff to the collection. But before that, you know the drill. Scan it. Alright, so the bucket did become a little stand for baby Garfield here. And I also have this Garfield here. I thought about putting this one here, but I still like this one more. And I added the little Garfield figurine next to old fat Garfield. So you have the original, the original and the new Garfield. And hey, this is a motivational picture right here. You may be rough right now, but give it 40 years and you could be Chris Pratt. That's the lesson we got here. I still like him more, but I love both of them. So that was it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new here. If you guys want to see more Garfield videos, even though the hype season's over, let me know. We can still make that happen. But I'll see you guys in this video right here. I know you're gonna love it. Again, don't forget to go check out our Patreon. It helps immensely with making this show possible. And also the Whatnot stream. Everything is in the top of the description. You'll be able to find everything you need down there. I'll see you guys in this video. And as always, most importantly, I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios and blue.